The Sultanate of Oman television live from its news center with 7 o'clock news bulletin. First, the headlines. The High Committee for Handling COVID-19 Development takes a number of preventive procedures to deal with the virus. The Office for Conservation of the Environment and the Diwan of the Royal Court launches a project to release Arabian antelopes into the wild in the Al-Wusta Wildlife Reserve. And the duration for submitting applications for membership of municipal councils for the third period ends by midnight tonight. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. In implementation of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq's royal directives to form a high committee for handling the novel coronavirus COVID-19 crisis based on latest health indications and developments in order to arrive at appropriate proposals and decisions, His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, presided over the first meeting, which was held today at the Ministry main office. The meeting was attended also by Their Excellencies, the committee's members. His Excellency, the Chairman, stressed at the beginning of the meeting that the matter in hand is of utmost concern to His Majesty, and it stems from His Majesty's care over the health and safety of all citizens and residents alike. The committee discussed latest developments on COVID-19 becoming a pandemic as per the announcements from World Health Organization, and the subsequent actions taken in coordination with the authorities concerned were discussed. The committee also discussed public awareness campaigns, the mechanisms to combat the pandemic in the next stage, and the necessary precautions, recommendations and decisions that are needed to be implemented. The committee issued the following decisions that shall become effective for 30 days starting from Sunday, the 15th of March 2020. 1. Suspension of tourism visas for all countries. 2. Suspensions of all sports events. 3. Suspension of all extracurricular activities, taking into account mandate procedures to be determined later based on the epidemiological data. 4. Suspension of cruise ships' entry to the Sultanate's port. 5. Court hearing will be accessed by the concerned parties only. 6. Serving shisha will be banned from all authorized facilities. The committee recommends avoiding travel outside the country unless under extreme circumstances. Precautionary measures must be maintained during religious rites and social gathering. Cinema should be avoided. The committee will remain in continuous sessions to follow up with the epidemiological data and take appropriate decision. At the end of the meeting, the committee commended the efforts exerted by various states' institutions to combat the pandemic, minimize its spread, and provide necessary care to those in quarantine. The committee thanked health personnel for their great efforts in this regard, praying to Allah Almighty to protect the country, His Majesty, the Sultan, its people, and the residents from any harm. In a statement to Oman television channel, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Health, said that the World Health Organization declared that novel coronavirus COVID-19 has become a pandemic on Wednesday. His Excellency explained the implications of such declaration by the World Health Organization that urged countries, including the Sultanate of Oman, to take all preventive measures to combat and minimize the spread of COVID-19. His Excellency stressed that no country has managed to stop the outbreak from entering its territories, but efforts were made to minimize its spread. His Excellency confirmed that the recorded cases of novel coronavirus remained 18 cases. His Excellency said decisions made countries regarding the continuation of study depends on the epidemiological development and the gravity of the situation. His Excellency added that there is an approved plan made by the Ministry and other educational institutions on necessary preventative measures based on the spread of virus. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Saidi, Minister of Health, concluded that there is no new development that requires the suspension of study. The Office for Conservation of the Environment, affiliated to the Diwan of the Royal Court, launched yesterday a project to restore antelope into the wild in Al-Wusta Governorate. More details in the following report.
After being cared for with a number of other endangered animals in the breeding center, 129 animals belonging to the antelope species, namely the Arabian oryx, Arabian gazelle, Arim gazelle, were released in the wildlife reserve in Al-Wusta Governorate so that they live in their natural habitats.
We are in Al-Wusta Wildlife Reserve. By this, we are attracting more tourists to visit the reserve and to establish a trail tourist in the reserve. Today we are happy as well. In part to this, we established a 3D map, which is a travel visitor guide, helping the visitors to travel through the reserve.
These animals will be tracked and followed via satellite and radio devices to study their behaviors and the ecosystem in their natural wild environment in order to conserve biodiversity at this reserve. It is worth mentioning that the project to return these endangered animals is a result of a success story after the Arabian Oryx Resettlement and Propagation Project in 1978, implemented by the late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, and a similar project to reproduce Reem gazelle, implemented in 2013 at Al-Wusta Wildlife Reserve. Restoring these animals to the wild does not only contribute to creating a balance in the ecosystem, but will also help in preserving the natural heritage of Oman. From the Flora and Fauna Reserve, Saleh Bukhalfan Al-Rahbi, Al-Wusta Governorate.
The period for submitting applications for membership of Municipal Council for the third period ends today at 12 midnight, and it will not be possible to submit any applications for candidacy after this deadline. The Minister of Interior invites citizens who wish to run and meet the conditions for candidacy for municipal council elections to expedite the submission of their applications before the end of the period through the website of the election, attaching all required documents in full. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. Oman Charitable Organization hands over 3 health centers to the Palestinian Ministry of Health in the Gaza Strip. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The second parallel program, which was launched on the 8th of this month, concluded at the premises of the National Defense College at Beit al-Falij camp. The program aimed to analyze strategic planning, studying the most important strategic cases at regional and international level, in addition to develop basics of joint national work and its reflection on national affairs, and direct the national efforts to enhance abilities to face strategic issues and challenges in various fields in order to ensure enhancing the joint national work and supply governmental and institutional performance. Oman oil price May delivery amounted to $33.73 per barrel. Oman oil price witnessed a decrease of $1.66 compared to yesterday's price. It's worth mentioning that Oman oil price average for March delivery amounted to $64.89 per barrel, decreasing around 60 cents compared to February 2020 delivery. A global and regional securities market, including the local market, were affected negatively due to severe declines in oil market, which had not witnessed since 1991. Muscat securities market recorded a weekly decline with more than 500 points and total trading value of more than 15 million Omani riyals. The oil prices lost a third of its value last Monday in its biggest losses since the Gulf War in 1991. The Oman Charitable Organization handed over 3 health centers to the Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza Strip to support the healthcare system in the Strip. This came in a ceremony held in the Gaza Strip with the attendance of a number of personalities and academics and representatives of a number of ministries and organizations. The health centers include a number of clinics such as general medicine and a dental clinic. The 3 health centers will serve more than 50,000 people in the Gaza Strip. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the most of the governorates with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning. Over the coast of the Arabian Sea, cloudy skies with chances of intermittent drizzle are expected over the governorate of Dhofar. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The High Committee for Handling COVID-19 Developments takes a number of preventive procedures to deal with the virus. The Office for Conservation of the Environment at the Diwan of the Royal Court launches a project to release Arabian antelopes into the wild in the Al Wusta Wildlife Reserve. And the duration for submitting applications for membership of municipal councils for the 3rd period ends by midnight today. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Thank you for joining us, and good night.